Kábíyèsí o. Good evening, viewers that are watching us all over the world. I am here live and direct at the palace of Olu of Ugbokoda in the person of His Royal Majesty Oba Afolabi Odidiomo Larada Akokoniko One, who is a member of Ondo South Senatorial District Power Resuscitation Committee, and also he is the legal advisor of the Ondo South Senatorial District Power Committee. Kábíyèsí, you are welcome to this program, sir.
Thanks so
Once again, viewers at home, I'd like for you to help us to salute our Kábíyèsí. Apart from being a royal father, he's also a lawyer, trained both in Nigeria and outside the country. Kábíyèsí, thank you for giving us this opportunity to be able to speak with you on the power issue on Ondo State. Let us begin from home, Kábíyèsí. Looking at your royal title, it reads Larada Akokoniko. For the benefit of the viewers that are watching all over the world, particularly of people of larger nation and generally, could you tell us how it came about, the meaning and the importance of the name Larada Akokoniko, the royal name? Kábíyèsí.
Thanks so much. In many climes, when somebody becomes a noble, his real name disappears. They pick up a name designed for the story. So most times you don't even hear their real name anymore and all that. But that is not a common thing in Nigeria. Larada is my father's name. It is a shortened form of Alarayiwo Mangada. And that name is the name adopted by my great-great-great-grandfather Temuhi. And if you go to places where his children are, they always have quarters, places that they want to use to remember who they are. If you get to Erinja, you see Larada quarters. Those are my father's children whose mother is from Erinja, who decided to live within the area where their mother is, and they decided to call that place the name of their great-great-grandfather. So Larada is a cognomen of my father or my great-grandfather. I said, wow. Akokoniko is mine. I took up that name, and it has some significance. What is Akokoniko? Akokoniko is a catfish. It's not always a big one. No matter how many years it is a small catfish. But as small as it is deadly. In Akokoniko is also a shorter form of describing the fish. It is Akokoniko Aponemaje. Akokoniko, the catfish, will kill a crocodile, but it will never eat it. So crocodile always think that, oh, I am big. I have very sharp, long teeth. I can kill Akokoniko without fear. But most times, the crocodile ends up losing its own life. And if Akokoniko is lucky to be alive, it swims away without being hurt. And if it's not alive, at least it has killed a giant. So when I became the Olu of Ugbokoda, I had terrible challenges from big and low. My maternal grandfather is the Oluroko of Iroko. One of his cognomen is Akpogongo Oshefeshelu. Akpoganga Ju Feselu. Oneba Feselu Akpoganga Onweje Aboni. I fell in love with that name. And I felt that, look, yes, if I'm a descendant of Akpoganga, I should also have something that will reflect that. And I looked around and I thought that, you know what? I would prefer Akokoniko to let people know that yes, I run generally by me if you just was at the manly worry, Mama for Judewa. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You have had it. So it is not just a mere appellation. It is pregnant with meaning. And you have had it for your hearing pleasure. Utters to Kale TV Diary. Kabesi,
Thank you.
Kabesi, getting to the business of the day. The Power Resuscitation Project, as far as Ondo South Senatorial District is concerned, the people wants to know, how far have we gone? Where are we right now? Some people are even insinuating that, nothing is being done. As the legal advisor of the Power Committee, could you please expatiate for the people how far we have gone and where we are right now on the issue of the Power Project? Kabisi.
Yeah, thank you. Let me first give you the background. To say, what have we done? Where are we? Without having a background, we are likely to miss it all. Am I a worker of any disco?
No.
No.
Yes.
Do I have any business with power distribution, transmission, or generation?
No.
Then what is my business in you coming to ask me, where are we? What have we done? As a lawyer, one of the weapons I know to use best is the law. I came here and I became an about 12 years ago. And I discovered that there had been no light in this town about 3-4 years before I came on board. Immediately I got here, it was then power holding company. And I felt that these people that are holding power should be able to give it out. I made efforts, did all we could. All I realized that they were always telling us, this transformer is bad. You need to buy another transformer. Or this cable is bad. You need to buy another cable. Once we buy, they will still come back to charge us for the electricity. And you say it's yours. So why am I buying cables? Why am I buying transformers? In my university days, we never do anything like energy law. And so it looks like a strange field to me. But I felt that as a lawyer, there can be nothing strange anymore. The first thing I did is, does the Nigerian Constitution has any provision as to what energy should be? How best should energy companies serve us? In my research, I discovered that energy in Nigeria has been divided into three. There's the generation company, there's the transmission company, and there's the distribution company. I realized that not much problem is with generation. Where the problems are in Nigeria is in transmission and distribution. Which one concerns me is the distribution. That is, as a final consumer, the person who relates with me, who ought to relate with me, is the distribution company. And that is the problematic part of energy in Nigeria. The government is doing all it could to make sure that it is not just that we have enough generation, it must be generation that is in compliance with sustainable development. Be that as it were, I picked the law establishing the distribution companies, the DISCOs. I started following up, even under Fashola. And Fashola, as a lawyer, also came up with so many beautiful regulations and how to make sure that the distribution companies comply with the issues there are to make sure that life is better for the people. For instance, there is a regulation that says that any DISCO that disconnects a consumer, if the consumer is a private residential house, the DISCO is liable to pay compensation to that consumer to the tune of 1,000 naira per day. So it means if I go to court now and count the number of houses in the Bokoda, and I'm to go to court to say that the DISCO should pay us 1,000 naira per household for 14 years, you know what that means? We should be talking of trillions of money that the DISCO should be knowing us. If it is a commercial premises, it is 1,005. If it is industrial, it is 2,000 naira per day. Yet, nobody is testing the law. And that is the problem with the law in this country. There are so many laws that are there, but nobody cares. For instance, there is a law that you cannot bury within residential houses, or you cannot slaughter cows just anywhere. But who in this country knows that such a law exists? Who in this country has tested the law in the court? Many of us overlook it. Today in this town, people bury every day anywhere, inside their house, outside their houses. It is not the law. When I stumbled on that, I'm like, wow, okay. I also stumbled on the law that says that no disco has the right to disconnect a consumer more than 3 months. The moment you disconnect a consumer more than 3 months, the consumer or group of consumers have the right to declare what they call emergency. Once they declare emergency and they publish it, they are no more under such a disco. That's the law. There is another law that says that once you declare an emergency, that consumer or group of consumers have the right to approach NEC, that is National Electricity Regulation Commission, to ask for independent electricity license to distribute. The only thing you cannot do in this country is that you cannot generate electricity and give to people without permission. And you cannot do that if you are generating more than 1 megawatt of electricity. If it is below 1 megawatt, you have the right. For instance, I can put my generator at the back of the house here, put diesel in it, and serve the whole of this street. As long as I'm not generating up to 1 megawatt, I have the right to so do. And I'll collect money for it. No disco, no generation company or transmission company can challenge me. When I saw all this, we approached BEDC. We approached NEC and said we want to apply for independent license to buy electricity from the generation company and distribute to our people. All we need is the permits. And that law goes further to say something, sir. The law says where a group of consumers who have been denied electricity for minimum of 3 months have the right to apply to NEC to distribute electricity to themselves. NEC could also on his own, realizing that a disco is not serving the people the way it should be, or have disconnected the people from the national grid, NEC has the right to, on its own, issue a license to those people to take care of their interests. Or those people can do it on their own to distribute and take care of their people. Immediately I stumbled on that, we approached NEC and said we want to get the independent license to buy electricity and distribute to our people. And NEC said, oh, no problem, you can do it. Go and submit your application, which with it. In doing that, the law says it is the consumer that can do it. Those that are not served or those who are underserved, the whole people cannot come down together to do it. Who are those that can do it for them? One of such people should be the traditional heads of those communities. And so we, the Obas, in all the local governments, came together as the mouthpiece of the people to say that we want to come together, buy this electricity, and give to our people. While we were doing that, we discovered that we need a consultant. I'm too busy. All the others are also busy. Some may not even understand all these things. And for the few of us that can, we feel that we may not have all the time to get it done. So we got a consultant. To get the whole thing straightened up, better way, we also come together, fund a company, Ondo South Power and Natural Resources
Utilities
Limited.
and
Natural Resources Limited.
Yes.
The head of all this that we were doing, or we are doing, is Abodi. I am there, only Jew is there. So many of us were there, but they thought it's not achievable. So some of them are neither here nor there. At the end of the day, we approached NEC asking for the license. And when they saw that we are actually serious and about to meet the requirements, they approached us and said, "KBC, please leave independent license, take franchise." What is franchise? Franchise means that you have the right to distribute this electricity to your people. You are still going to make use of all the infrastructures that are there. But it means that if all these structures belong to BEDC as it were, then you can enter into some agreement with them as to what will be their compensation for using their infrastructure. And we said we don't mind. We are not about profit. We're about serving our people. I spend 3,500 naira per day to buy fuel into my generator. That does not cover ironing my clothes. That does not cover my generator to make my drinks and whatever cold and all that. So if I add all that together, maybe I'll be paying on the average 7,000 naira per day. Calculate what that means. But if we have electricity, at least that will reduce what I'm spending. That will reduce what you are spending and all that. Mind you, sir, why is it that Disco is not giving us light? Disco is not giving us light because it is a business to them. And the business is giving those that will give them bulk money. And what does the bulk money mean? If, for instance, the industrial park in Ore is presumed to have conglomerates of companies and whatever. And so if 10 companies are paying in a month 40 million, maybe the whole of Igbokoda will not even pay 3 million. And Disco is not ready to buy enough electricity. And apart from not buying enough electricity, there's what is called technical loss between transmitting electricity from Okitupa to Igbokoda, for instance. When the light is on, from the cables you hear some noise, it is electricity. And so from Okitupa to Igbokoda, there is a little loss which they are not ready to bear. So they prefer to concentrate the whole of that energy to those areas where there are industries that will give them big money. So to individuals, as far as they are concerned, how much are you paying us? So they are not prepared to give individual houses. So they will concentrate all the little they buy to those companies and make big money out of them. So those who are lucky to fall within that region are now given estimated bill, which is to cover those technical losses in between the lines. So that is why they are not there to give us light. And they realize that they need more equipment in those places. If you want to see, ask BEDC to give you their estimated expenditure for maintenance and improvement. What they budgeted for Ondo State and Ekiti State for 3 years is less than 200 million. But ask them what their budget for Akure, Aziz, and whatever is into millions of naira. So it means that they know that this place, as far as they are concerned, is not profitable. No Luagra, no oil, palm, nothing and whatever.
According to what we heard, they say economically non-viable.
Economically not viable area. Oshibodu told me that he wants to give his electricity for those who can pay. And I told her, Madam, Elijah is not the poorest people. As at the time she said it, I still didn't understand the politics. But Adeolu Joshua also went ahead to tell me last week to say that his electricity is meant for those who can afford to pay. And I'm saying that, are you saying that your own people cannot pay? I understand the argument. So where are we? When they asked us to go for franchise, we agreed that what is important is for our people to get electricity. There were a lot of rigmaroling, but whichever way they go to, they were always meeting us. Whatever excuse they come up with, I always have an answer. At the end of the day, the last management of BEDC, when Oshibodu was removed, gave us this. There's a letter from BEDC agreeing to franchise. And if you permit me, I will just read. It says, we write to inform you that the management of BDC Electricity PLC has assented to your request for franchising of Ondo State South Central District, except Odigbo local government. And why there is an exception? They were thinking that Omotosho is in Odigbo local government. They didn't know that Omotosho is in Okitipupa local government. They were removing Odigbo because they thought that with the industrial park and Omotosho and whatever, that's a cash cow. They can't let it go. And we said we don't mind. But Odigbo told them that, you know what, if you remove us from the 5 local government that have been fighting all this while, you will never get the electricity. And why? The junction where electricity can go to the whole 5 local government is in Ore. Unless the substation in Irinje is energized, in which case from that Irinje, there can be electricity coming to this place, going to Aye, Oktupa, Irele, like that, boycotting Ore. And we said we don't mind. Once they gave us this letter, we have gone to NDPAC.
This letter is dated when?
This is a letter of 9th December 2022.
Right.
And that is after 4 years of battling before we got this. They set up a joint committee with us and BEDC to go and check what is left of the infrastructure. I didn't have that report here. The report shows that all the transformers are damaged. Vandalized. All. We did a budget to realize that we'll be needing close to 3 to 4 billion.
Kabezi, if you don't mind, sorry for the interjection.
Yeah,
I have a material here that shows the number of transformers in each of the local government, Ilaje, Okitupa, Irele, Sodo, and then the condition.
Yeah.
Kabezi, if you don't mind, Ilaje has 79 numbers, out of which 74 are vandalized. Okitupa has 170, out of which 126 are vandalized. It really has 23, 18 vandalized, and the Eseldo has 36, 27 vandalized. So out of the total 306 transformer Kabesi, we have a whooping total of 345 vandalized transformer Kabesi.
Now, that is main transformers. What about substations? We have one here, damaged, and all that. Yes. And we said, you know what? Don't worry.
Yes, sir.
We are going to replace all the things. We have gone around to ask for prices. We have entered into agreements, signed MOUs, how we will buy these transformers, bring them in, and all that. We've been asking discos, if you are giving people electricity, give them meters, which they refuse. As I'm talking to you in Igbokoda, I have over 1,000 meters, prepaid meters, that we have arranged that once we give our people electricity, you must buy your meters. It is the meter that you will recharge. Yes. It's prepaid. Yes. Once you recharge it, once your money is finished, it is finished. We have done all that we needed to do. We got this letter in December. 2 months ago or thereabout, we have finished our. Actually, they were to hand over for us, but Engineer Dewo and Co said, since I'm out of the country, there's a need for them to wait for me because of the way the role I have played. I said, look, you don't need to wait. It's not about me. It's about our people. Go ahead. But they refused. That is just 2 weeks. I gave them a date, just 2 weeks. Before the expiration of the 2 weeks, they removed the former chairman, brought Adeolu Joshe and a Kale man.
Oh.
There. All of us were celebrating. We were jubilating that our own son, now knowing the pain we've gone through, will quickly do all that is necessary to make sure we have electricity.
We celebrated him on our platform.
Unfortunately, with Adeolu Jose, we are going back into the trenches. And I will tell you what. Yes. Government is selling every available government interest in energy. But rather than Adeolu Jose as the new MD there to follow that trend.
At BDC.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
He's telling us that he wants to resell Ondo South to NDPHC. And I'll tell you what that means. In his opinion, the money needed to do the necessary repairs and whatever to give us electricity is huge. It's about 3 to 4 billion naira. he doesn't think we have the money. Okay, do you have the money? He said no. Do you have a dream of how to get the money? He said no. So what do you want? Allow us to finish what we're doing. If after 6 months we are not working, there is no electricity, take it back. That's what franchise is. If it is independent electricity, we don't owe you anything. We owe you no explanation. But if it is franchise, why not? If we are not performing, you can take your thing back. He said no. He's not going to allow it. What do you want to do? He said he's entering into agreement with NDPAC that NDPAC will manage Omotosho and another place in Delta that is juicy. Then they will take the whole of those south with it. And I said, listen, the present NDPAC under the leadership of Ife Oyedele spent millions of naira repairing so much in this area, even reconnecting areas without poles and whatever. All that we appreciate. We do not need to hand over our area back to a government agency when government itself is taking away the hands of government agencies and whatever. If you are doing it because of Ife Oyedele will not be there forever. Yes. And once you sign us away, too bad. And two, the law that established the Niger Delta Power Holding Company established it as a generation company and not a distribution company. And so, how do you maneuver to think that you will give the power to distribute to a generation company? And NDPAC is in Abuja. They only have a generation station in Omotosho, and you want them to be the one to distribute?
Yeah, locally.
No. And that with the letter and the investment we have done, we are almost at the point we have started even telling people that, you know what, within 1 month of last month, there will be electricity. We have finished all we were doing. The only point that was left, which was the problem, was the transformer in Ore, which has been vandalized completely. Unless we repair that place, which will belong to BEDC, it does not form part of where they were trying to give to us. You see the letter said, except Odigbo. And so, if Odigbo is out of it, then there is a need for us to sit down. And if you look at the last paragraph of the letter, I said, we hereby invite you to discuss the final details of franchising in order to get your district moving. Kindly avail us of your proposal so that we can study and then set a time for final discussions. Please accept the assurances of our highest regards. So the only thing that was left was, how do we repair the transformer in Ore? So that from Ondo, Ore can be energized. From Ore, electricity can come to Aye, from Aye to Irele. Because before, it was from Okutuba to Irele. The swamp in that area, the poles fell. So NDPAC constructed a new line entirely that will go from Ore to Irele because of the new road and whatever. So not through the river as it were. We've been discussing, we thought, so we saw that some top guys in BEDC were no more ready to talk to us, they were avoiding us. We now called Deolu that, gentlemen, what's happening? He said we should come over. Myself and Onegi, we got there, he said, you know what? We spoke for more than 1.5 hours. When he saw he was not having any arguments to overcome my views, we digress a little bit to discuss some other issues. When we were about to go, he said, well, gentlemen, I think I will still insist that on those South, if NDPAC agrees, we'll go to NDPAC. How long do we have to wait? He said, well, it won't take time, maybe another 3 months or more. I said, can you imagine? So if NDPAC did not accept, what happens? He said, then we can come back to our own. And I'm wondering the sense in that. You see, the mistake is always this. In Nigeria, we don't, I don't blame Deolu. Deolu is a commercial person, a banker. Yeah. Bankers think of profits. They don't think about the interests of the masses, of the people. So as a banker, as far as it's concerned, what is the way where we can make more money? And he has forgotten he's not going to be there forever. He was talking of we coming together as we have done and help BEDC to collect the money they said we are owing them. Some millions of naira we are owing them. And I said, listen, man, even if you want us to help you to collect money, how do you go to people you have not given electricity for 14 years
Yes.
that come and pay the money you are owing? It doesn't work that way. If that is what you want, don't worry. Let's give them electricity. Once they have electricity, we'll be collecting the money little by little. And he said, no. So, my brother, as it were, and that's my point at all times. I have experienced that when our own people, Elijah Ikale in particular, they are in power, they are in position, their people never benefit. It is one thing to talk theory. Apart from Agagu, who got there and said, no, my people cannot suffer. Whatever we are benefiting and enjoying today in Elijah, it was Agagu.
Yes.
The places in Elijah that had no electrical poles or electricity poles or whatever before, Agagu erected it and put cables, put strings on them and all that. But most times, our people always forget that they would leave office and come back to live among us. Where we are is that the hope of electricity in this area is becoming dim and dim by the day. I am happy that Deolu has very limited time there. NEC and the banks are the one appointing the MDs. And by the rules, they spend 6 months. If they perform well, they can add another 6 months. If not, they will go. Let him do whatever he wishes. And I told him, if he allows a letter to come now, fine and good. But since he's not working and they are not ready to listen, we want to test the law also. One of the ways to test the law is that if the regulations say they should pay me 1,000 naira per day for the number of years they deny me electricity, we are trying to challenge it. 2, if the law says they cannot disconnect us within 3 months, and after 3 months we can go to NEC to ask for independent electricity, distribution license, we want to approach the court and ask for an order of mandamus to compel NEC to act to obey their own laws and regulations. And if that is, we have had where the Senadolu said, oh, that's not a problem. If we go to court, the court will say, let the status quo be maintained. What is the status quo as of today? The status quo is that we have been given letter that they have consented to our franchise. That will be the status quo. I don't know a judge that will say, oh, the status quo is that you have been in darkness, continue to remain that. No, and I don't know. I don't know. We'll try. We'll go to court. I have a case here where 1 or 2 towns in Delta State or whatever approached the court and said they deserve the same compensation we are talking about. And the court awarded them millions of naira. So BDC is not a hidden agency that cannot be dragged out. I also know a judge in this state that took them to court, and the court awarded 20 million naira against them. So we are prepared. And so when people hear that we drag BDC under an Ikale man to court, they shouldn't be surprised. That's why I'm saying it. In the next 1-2 weeks, we'll be in court. The problem in this country is that nobody is ready to obey the law. And everybody believes that judges can be bought. It's not all judges that have no conscience. If it is that they have no conscience, no court in this country will ever give any judgment that will be again. Look at the good judgments here and there under the Buhari regime today. Yes. Some people are already saying, oh, Osho is in trouble with Tinubu now. Oyetola will go back. Yet the court came up holding some of the basic facts of what they know to say, no, Adeleke actually won the election. So there's still hope for the common man that court can do justice. And part of it is what the distribution companies have been doing to us in this country.
Thank you very much, Kabiyesi. We have been having a conversation with the revered Olu of Igbokoda, Akoko-Neko Larada. We can now see and understand why the name Larada, Akoko-Neko, has come to bear. Thank you very much, Kabezi, for your time. And then viewers at home, we are still on the Ikale TV Diary. Kabezi, you have said so many things. We have been educated. Power Committee. As we begin to round up, Kabezi, by way of appreciation, maybe you like to single one or two people out or an organization that has been of immense help, as in why this project has been going on up to the moment we are in right now. And if there are people we need to call out, I think we should do for people to know. Kabezi.
First and foremost, I want to appreciate His Excellency Oluwarotimi Akeredolu for his immense role and contribution. From the word go, when we sold the idea to Akeredolu that we want to go into these things, and he read through the regulations and the law establishing this school, and he saw our readiness, he was always opening his doors to us. Where there is a need for the government to intervene and whatever they have done. It was part of that that brought about the idea of the Ondo State Electricity Commission or whatever, and the ministry as well. And the commissioner, wonderful man, has also done all he could.
Even Engineer Razak.
To give us the support, to give us whatever it is. And when we made presentation to them, they were convinced that it is doable, it is achievable. And they were already thinking that, at least in Nigeria, Ondo South will be an example to all and see how best we could come together to see what could be done. I also want to specifically thank Engineer Ife Oyedele, maybe because he's an Ikale man and he knows the pain we're going through here. There are occasions he will be in his office, he will pick his phone to call the vice president. I remember a time where the vice president said, you know what, Ife, these are your people. Whether the law allows it or not, give them light by whatever means. And that was 2 years ago. And that is part of what led to the repairs of the lines and all that and what else. Ife Oyedele performed miracle. And if anybody ought to be appreciated as an individual, it is Ife. I am baffled and ashamed that our people went to destroy his house in the EndSARS protest. Yes. And he does not deserve it. If there is a man that I know loves his people, ready to make sacrifices to put smiles on their faces, it is Ife Oyedele. Individually, to be honest, he's the only one I can count on. But as somebody who also played a very unique role. When he was in the House of Reps, Negwo, what's his name now? Omogbein. When we went to Abuja, he was the one that facilitated how we saw Fashola when we went to discuss with him about this problem here. And he did all he could to house the others, to feed them and all that. That was all. Remove him. No other Ikale, Ilaje, or Apoi man did anything apart from Omogbein while he was in the House of Reps. The person who has also tried minimally is Senator Nicholas Tofuomo. He tried in some little ways. Others are looking for what they can benefit. There are people that will tell us, KBS, okay, all this what you are doing now, what's going to be our gain? I'm investing my money. I'm investing my time. I'm knocking doors. I'm taking enmity from BDC officials. You will sit down somewhere, you're asking me what will be your benefits. There are things that ask us what their benefit will be. And I said, we're not talking about benefit here. And stayed away. And we said, well, we are waiting to see how it will go. So some of them will not say, we said it will work. This one will work. Unless I will hands off when BDC gives us light. But where they do not, I will fight them with all that I have.
Thank you very much, Kabezi. We have been having conversation with Kabezi, the Olu of Ibokoda, and I'm sure you have picked one or two things. Till we'll come your way another time. This is Ashwad Bin Kamune reporting for Ikale TV Diary. And Kabezi, thank you very much for your time, because as you can see, Kabezi has a lot of visitors. But because this is very important, he had to spare us. You can see, people are here waiting to see him. But he chose to discuss this very important matter with us so that we can move forward. Till we come your way next time, I am Ashwaju Bengamune reporting for Ikale TV Diary. Thank you. God bless you.